Coming up next, today's band was flying high in the early 80s. They just scored their first #1 hit. In fact, it was one of the biggest hits of the year, and they were ready for more. When their next album flopped and then their lead singer lost his voice, many wondered if this band would survive. After auditioning many singers, they found the perfect frontman, though, which led to several songs that the band knew would be hits. They were right, but their best song from the album actually came when they'd already handed in the album. In fact, it came to them minutes after giving the label the finished product. So they hurried and recorded it, and it's a good thing they did because it became a #1 hit, took them back to the top, and one of the best songs of the 80s. Coming up next, we have the songwriter and a founding band member to tell the story of one of the greatest records of the mid-80s. Check it out. Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if your parents, your grandparents, or uncles and aunts ever called you rock and roll devil music, you're going to dig this channel. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s nostalgia, rock and roll, pop history, straight from the legends. Make sure to subscribe below right now to be a part of this music community and click the bell so you don't miss out on our latest interviews coming up. We have some cool ones coming up that I've just done. It's time for another episode of our show, Revelations, our most popular show on here. This is where we dive deep into an artist's greatest songs and albums and gain amazing perspective and knowledge from them behind the music of our times. Survivor hit the #1 spot in 1982 with the Rocky III anthem, Eye of the Tiger. It ended up spending 6 weeks at the top, and it was the second biggest single of the year. Survivor was eagerly awaiting their curtain call when all hell broke loose. First of all, their next offering, Caught in the Game, failed to catch on at all. The album stalled at number 82 on the album charts, and the title track from the record barely made the Hot 100 at number 77. And then their lead singer, Dave Bickler, found out that he had to have surgery. He couldn't sing for a time and maybe not ever again. Survivor had to live up to their name at this point if they were going to continue to thrive in the music business. So they auditioned a lot of different singers looking for the right fit. Up next, co-founding member and co-songwriter, instrumentalist Jim Peterick. He relates the challenges that the band faced and the path that led the band back to multi-platinum status with 1984's classic rock masterwork, Vital Signs. He tells the story behind my favorite Survivor song and their comeback single, I Can't Hold Back, which really was the perfect song for their new singer's voice. Jim Peterick tells us what inspired he and guitarist and co-founder Frankie Sullivan to write such a perfect slice of 80s AOR rock. This, in my opinion, is truly one of the best songs of the 80s. Its melody is heavenly, with the sprawling vocals of newcomer Jimi Jamison, who proved he was the voice of the band on their best album. I Can't Hold Back. It might be the most underappreciated song in 1984. It returned the band to prominence, turned them to #1 on the rock charts, and its music video was a staple of MTV in the waning days of '84. It was an incredible comeback, especially because their previous few singles missed the top 40 altogether, but it's also a testament to the writing partnership at that moment between Jim Peterick and Frankie Sullivan. And coming up next, you'll hear how this song was created. Such a good one. Here's Jim Peterick on the story of an 80s classic. It's not every day you get to talk to one of your heroes, but I want to go right to the very beginning and ask you, what was it for you, Jim, whether it was a song that you heard, someone in your life, just the moment that kicked open the door to your mind and made you want to pursue music, like, this is what I want to do? What was that?
Yeah, well, I have two older sisters. One passed away, but they're both like 10 years and 12 years older than me. So I had the advantage at age 4 of all these little 45s coming into my universe that they would buy. And a lot of them had yellow labels and said "Son" on it. So very early, I was into Johnny Cash and the very early Presley stuff. And I didn't know what I was feeling. I just knew it was electrifying me. And then when Presley hit the Ed Sullivan Show, you ain't knocking back. I was a made man. I knew that's what I wanted to do. The girls were screaming, he's looking great. And I didn't verbalize it, of course, but that's when I knew that that was the path I was going to take. My sisters just encouraged that, and they taught me ukulele at age 4. And we used to take family vacations down to Florida. And in the back seat in my dad's 52 Chrysler, we would be singing, Jada, Jada, Jing, Jing, Jay, and with someone like you.
Jada, jada, jing, jing, jing. Jada, jada. Instead till I find someone like you, baby, no one else will do.
Those are the happiest times of still the happiest memories of my life. Although
Wow.
I've had a lot of great memories since, but that's where it all started.
Well, of course, in 64, he started performing at that time. And that was around the time that the Beatles came to America, hit Ed Sullivan.
Oh yeah, tell you something.
The Vital Signs. In 84, that came out, hit number 16 on the pop charts, platinum album. That was one of the best albums of the 80s. I
Thank
loved
you.
that. I remember buying it as a kid with my allowance and listening to every song and
Wow.
just loving it. This is where you guys rise from the ashes with one of my favorite singers
Yeah.
in history, Jimmy.
Yeah, that was, it's very difficult for a band to survive the changing of a lead singer. It's happened. Van Halen and
Journey.
But we didn't know. And we started holding auditions and, dead ends, dead ends, dead ends. But I got a call from my former manager, Frank Rand. And he said, there's this group called Cobra and their lead singer, I think they're about to break up, but their singer is really great. Send me the Cobra record. And I didn't really love the Cobra record, but I heard something in this guy's voice. We flew him into Chicago. He auditioned the day after Kevin Chalfant. We were just about to give the gig to Kevin Chalfant, who went on to form The Storm and many other great solo career. But when Jimmy came, we used to rehearse in this old carpet warehouse, and the fumes from the carpet would make us all cry. It was awful. And Jimmy comes, he's very polite, very humble. It was almost like an Elvis Presley vibe. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not that bad, but very polite and very, just great guy. And he steps up to the mic, and Frankie and I just wrote Broken Promises. And, he's singing in my ear the first one. Summer and smoke, diamonds and dust, go where you will, do what you must. Goosebumps all over. Do that on the microphone. So he nailed Broken Promises. We had this crappy PA. He made the PA sound good. That's how loud his voice was. And I go, wow. Can I show you another one? And we had just written The Search Is Over. So I'm playing him The Search Is Over in E flat, and he's singing it back to me. I said, dude, did you hear this song before? He goes, no, man. That's how good his ear was.
Wow.
Who am I to blame you for doubting what?
We're doing it. He goes, and now I look into your eyes. And his voice cracked on eyes. And I go, well, stop the band. Frankie, we better lower this a half step. And he looks at me and goes, oh, man, give a half a man a chance.
I love that.
I never forgot that. I said, okay, all right. So we did it again in E flat. And man, did he nail that.
Oh, wow.
He nailed it.
I love
from
that story.
From this day on, it's in E flat.
Look into your eyes, I can see.
I mean, Jimmy is incredible. Moment of Truth, Karate Kid came out.
Moment of truth, you're giving it all, standing alone.
I Can't Hold Back might even be more of a favorite to me than Eye of the Tiger. That is such an incredible song. It's always been a song that no matter where I'm at in my life, you know, if I'm kind of having a rough day or whatever, I listen to that song, it just lifts me up.
Yeah.
A little differently than Eye of the Tiger. It's not so in your face. It's number 1 on the rock charts, number 13 on the pop charts. You had that title in your mind for years. Tell me the story behind that.
Well, you know, I have these notebooks. Nowadays, it's more on my iPhone, but I can't hold back. I just love that title. And I transferred it from notebook to notebook, waiting to find a home. And that home was, like, we were at the record plant in LA, Studio C, the greatest studio, and it's no longer there. But we thought we were done with the album. Ron Nevison was producing.
Yeah.
Brilliant producer. Loved him. And literally, we thought we were done with the album. The roadies are actually taking down the equipment. But Frankie still had a Marshall up, and he had his Les Paul around his neck. He starts doing this incredible arpeggiated figure. And I'm in the piano booth with the door open, and I start doing this riff that was magical around it. And Nevison is going, "What's that?" I go, "Oh, nothing. We're just screwing around." He said, "No, you're not. You got to write that song." Yeah. I said, "We're done." He said, "You're not done." You know.
Wow.
So Frankie brings his acoustic guitar into the piano room, and we started working out this song. And I started with, "There's a story in your eyes," you know. And he goes, "Turn the pages of desire."
Turn the pages of desire.
It was one of those things. And Nevison was hovering around. You know, he's a brilliant. He's not a musician really, but he knows music.
He's got a great ear.
Great ear. And he kept encouraging us like a cheerleader. "Okay, put that section. I can feel you tremble when you're not using that enough. Put it again over here." I go, "It's not going to work. Try it."
Yeah.
It worked.
Feel you tremble when we touch, and I feel the hand of...
I mean, if you listen to that song, it's like you put all the song pieces in a Cuisinart and hit frappe.
I know.
It's crazy.
And you guys are a master. Huey Lewis did this really well too. You guys are a master of the pre-chorus, because that song has 2 choruses.
It does.
I mean, that's why it's so powerful, because you hear that tremble when you touch,
Yeah.
and then I can't hold back.
I got to say, Nevison realized that we had 2 choruses and wanted to make that tremble when you touch section a big deal. So he had us in the studio the next morning, and we cut it. The next morning, set up all the equipment again.
And you guys, I read that this was like your favorite session that you ever did. Like everything came together.
Everything came together. And
No ego, no.
no, nothing. And it was meant to be. It was the first single. I remember I was doing the Music Tennis Fest with Dave Austin, and Jimmy was there, and everyone was there. And a motorcycle pulled up in front of the hotel, and it was blasting from the speakers on his Harley. And it sounded so good. I'll never forget the first time I heard that song.
And the bridge is cool too, because you slow down with that dream.
Another shooting star goes by.
Don't let the moment run too fast. I love that.
And then going into that, I can see a tremble. That's the weirdest modulation known to man, but it works.
And the background vocals, I'm on the edge, I can't hold
And that's
back.
Mickey Thomas on the
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Which Ron Nevison produced.
Produced.
Yeah, at that time,
Jane.
those guys.
Oh my God.
Your voice explodes inside my head. That's my favorite line from that. And the music video, too, is one of those memorable music videos from the MTV days.
We were trying to clone A Risky Business. But we did it on an L train. And we were all in different garbs. I was the businessman with the slick back hair. My own manager walked right past me, didn't recognize me. Stefan, the bass player, was a nun. Mark Joubert was a bum. Frankie was a greaser. Jimmy was the stud muffin. He was Tom Cruise. And it was brilliant.
And the girl that was the
Leanne Marie.
actress, she was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. a few
Yes,
years
she
later.
was. Leanne
Yeah.
Marie. And about 2 years ago, she reprised a song of mine called Cold Blooded that I did with Mark Shearer and Jim Peterick for Frontiers.
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
I love the segue
Wasn't that
scene.
so cool?
It was
'Cause
so
I've always
sweet.
wondered, why don't they use that in the movie?
Yeah.
That's a cinematic song.
It is. It's a matter of time before I think they'll all be used.
Make sure to leave us a comment about Survivor. Who's your favorite vocalist or era of Survivor? This is a band that was just so big for so many years there. If you had to pick the greatest song from them, what is it? And Can't Hold Back, Vital Signs, The Glorious Year 1984. Share that in the comments as well. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, be a part of our Spirit of Radio. Till next time, 3 chords and the truth.